Oh, and actually, I said Josh Prino, but actually, I'm going to talk about Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson is our number 100 breaststroker. He has gone under a minute in the 100 breasts more than any other American all time. And also our top two in our 200 breaststroke. These are the things we're talking about. Actually, I just got a text from Andrew yesterday about how his stroke looks, and these are the things we talked about. I want, like, we talk about his hips staying high. So you can see right here how high his hips are. That's a big focus for us. Trying to keep the hips high as he's extending forward. Huge point of emphasis for us. Having the hips high, and basically having the hips high, it just allows the water to flow over your body and flow past your body really well. Low hips, especially at this point, is a huge point of drag. So that's something we're talking about with Wilson, is keeping the hips high. We're also talking about having an awesome catch. And this right here is something that we're working on. Let me move it a little bit closer so you can see this. I don't know if he takes another stroke. Yeah, here we go. So right here. So having the elbows high, I want his fingers to be pointing down even more. Right now, they're kind of pointing out to the side. I want his fingers to be pointing down even more. And that's something we're working on, is getting a good catch right here. If you watch Lily King, if you watch Josh Prino, if you watch Annie Laser, they all have awesome catch. So like good elbow right here, bent elbow, and fingers pointing down, not necessarily all the way to the side. And last thing we talked about with Wilson, and I mentioned the high hips. One thing with high hips that helps the high hips is a good, and this is what we texted about the other day, is like making sure that the kick pushes a little bit downward so that when the legs are extending, it extends downward, and that will pop your hips up. So this downward kick right here pushes the hips up at the end of the stroke. And you're not finishing, like your legs extend downward and then they come back up in line right here. So comes back up in line right there. So extend downward to pop the hips up, and then hands, and then your legs rise to the surface. How many of you guys, and I know now I can't see everyone, that's totally fine. How many of you guys, like your coach has ever told you that you dive down with your hands too much in breaststroke? That I would say probably a lot of you. And if you are like, when you're diving down your hands, I would say maybe unknowingly you're trying to get your hips high. So in order to fix that, extend your feet low. That'll pop your hips high, and hopefully keep your hands extended forward, just like Wilson right here. And then, like I said, after that extension, your feet will rise up to the surface and you hit a good line. And fly. Haley Flickinger,